ポーツライター斉藤ですが、ジェイミーヘッドコーチにやはりソフトなタックルでトライを与えたことが試合の大きな流れを決めたと思うんですが、そのあたりタックルに関してはどうですか。
Not all the time, I wasn't. No. Look, it's a big test match. Experienced players, quality rugby players. There's going to be moments in the test match that we're going to fall off a tackle, but the net result of that is the result in terms of the test match. So, that's all I've really got to say about that.
Thank you. On the right here.
ラグビーライター吉田ですけども、キャプテン姫野君に質問ですけど、アルゼンチンね、あれだけ食らいつけたのもすごくいいゲームをしたとは思うけれども、ちょっと攻めたい気持ちとかが焦るようなところもチームの中にはあったようにも感じるんですけども、そこら辺の15人のマインドっていうのは実際にプレーしてどんな感じだったんですか。
そうですね、後半の途中までは本当にテストマッチを勝つところまで行ってましたし、そこからソウタのトライを与えてしまって少しチームが焦ってしまったというところ、もう少し時間がある中でも、まず相手のエリアに行くってことを忘れてしまいがちになってましたし、そこに関しては反省点ではありますけど、ただ本当に選手は本当に最高の努力をしてくれたと僕は思ってます。はい。
これジェイミーに質問ですけども、これもし改めての総括みたいな会見で話すべきであると判断すれば、今お答えしなくても構わないですけど、4年間すごくいろんな障害があって準備をしてきたっていうところで、やっぱりもっといろんな強化の環境とか時間がね欲しかったかなっていうふうに感じるところも我々取材してきてもあるんですけども、そういうところはどんなふうにジェイミーは感じてますか。
Not really. Oh, not really. I mean, as a rugby coach, you've got to deal with all sorts of things. So what that means for me in the last 4 years is there's a pandemic. We stopped our rugby, and all the stories that we've been talking up until now has been highly in the media, particularly in Japan. But today, I felt that we were ready to play a big game of rugby. Today, everyone was fit and available, mentally and physically ready to play. I thought our players played very well, probably played the best in the last 4 years, but we played a quality Argentinian team, and the game was tight. I can't remember in terms of the time of the match. Soft tries or soft moments, not necessarily soft moments where we make mistakes and then we've got to build back up again. But in terms of our attitude and intent and willingness to play our kind of rugby against a very physical and experienced Argentinian side, I'm very proud of my team.
Thank you. Here.
共同通信の小海と言います。お疲れ様でした。ジェイミーヘッドコーチと姫野キャプテン一つずつ教えてください。ジェイミーはこれが最後の試合になるかと思います。ずっと過ごしてきた選手たちの今日の頑張りすごい良かったと思うんですけども、7年間の到達点として今どんな思いがありますか。それからキャプテンは非常に惜しい試合でした。出せるとこ出したと思うんですけれども、今のその率直な手応え、それから悔しさというのをもう一言教えてもらえますか。
Well, I think it's important to understand what my job is. My job is to not only to coach the national team, but to develop rugby. It's sole kontaku in Japanese rugby over the last sort of 7.5 seasons. The first 4 years was dedicated to performing and excelling at a home World Cup. So we've got to tick for that. And then, as we said earlier on, the last sort of 4 seasons have been really difficult, but I'm really proud of the team. I'm really fortunate, and I'm not a lot gets said about my coaching team, or the leaders of this team. And I think this is the same for every international side. The head coach's job is X, and I have my role, but it's the support and the ability and the hard work of all my teammates, which is in my case my staff. There's 22 people here that really put in. There's a bunch of players that didn't even play a test match at the World Cup, so you can imagine how they're feeling, but they work hard in Japan, and that's the strength of us as a team, and that's what I'm proud of.
Right, so they can pick it up. Closer to the mic.
Closer.
Thank you at the back.
Jamie, Jamie, 4 years ago after you were eliminated in Japan, you spoke about the importance of Super Rugby and the Sunwolves being involved and how much that had helped you develop the side and was party to your success. In the 4 years since, there's been less contact with Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Argentina. How important is it, in your view, that Japan Rugby becomes a bigger part of the region?
I think it's the most important, and I could probably say that on behalf of all Tier 2 teams that have quality rugby players, but we don't have quality time to develop those quality rugby players to play games like what you witnessed today. This game today is our 10th test match, so we're pretty good in terms of being ready to play a big game of footy, but 113 days ago when we started our campaign and we played New Zealand 15, we were nowhere ready to play an opposition like that. And that challenge is going to be ongoing for Japan Rugby unless things change.
Franchise level as well? At franchise level as well as test level?
I think so. I think it's like any rugby team or any rugby player, they need to be playing tough footy. And I guess what I said, this year we played 10 tough games of rugby, and now we're starting to play to our potential.
Sorry, Jamie. Christy Doran here, just next door. Congratulations on your long stint there. Do you have an opinion about who should take over from you? And clearly you're going back to the Highlanders, and there's a bit of synergy perhaps with someone else being linked there 8 years on as well with Eddie.
Oh, I don't have opinion. You're asking the coach that's leaving who does he think who's coming in. And what I will say though is that my coaching team are highly experienced and very capable. And the one thing I'll say is coaching in Japan isn't the same as coaching in New Zealand or Australia or England. There's a cultural aspect that you need to be aware of. Players prioritise and think differently. And the game of rugby is consistent, but the players are coming, in particular our team, I think there's about 8 or 9 different cultures in terms of where the players are coming from and origin from. So the coach has got to be a good guitar player, if you know what I mean.
Thank you. At the back.
フリーランスの向井と言います。姫野さんに2つ伺いたいです。1個目なんですけれども、最後試合終わった後エンジンで何かお話しされてたと思うんですが、どういうことをお話しされて、どういうことを思ってたでしょうか。
まずは選手への感謝、本当にここをターゲットにたくさんみんな本当に犠牲を払ってここまで来ました。選手もそうですし、スタッフもそうですし、本当に結果が出なくて残念ですけど、ただ本当にみんなのことを誇りに思うということ、そして自分たちが歩んできたプロセスっていうのは決して無駄じゃないんだってこと。日本ラグビーはまだまだ強くなれるし、自分たちのレガシーである文化であり、エベレストを登る、ワールドカップ優勝するっていう夢や目標っていうのはこれからも絶対受け継がれていく。だからこそ日本ラグビーはもっともっと強くなれるんだってこと、だからこそこう胸を張って帰ろうってことをみんなに伝えました。
Hello. So just hi. Sorry for my accent in Argentina. Sorry. I don't know if the question has been asked already, but you live in Japan. What is your view to close the gap from Japan to the Tier 1 teams? What do you think Japan should do with all your experience in Japan to close that gap?
I think there's a couple of things. There's only a certain amount of Japanese rugby players coming through, so those players need experience of playing certain levels of footy. The first level is the Japanese competition league. Our local competition is corporate rugby, and so what that really means is the top corporations with the biggest budgets basically have the most amount of players. So in most cases, our second and third best players in Japan aren't getting rugby. So something needs to be done about that. And then on top of that, we need to have a level of rugby professional intensity where the players can get that in and out, daily training, touring, getting used to different countries, different types of rugby. You play South Africa, they play a different way. You play the Argentinian boys, it's a different type of footy. And I think those two kinds of experiences for us in Japan, which we had with the Sunwolves, is a possible solution.
Thank you.
日経新聞の谷口です。ジェイミーさんに2つお伺いします。1つは、先発で使ったフィフィタ選手が活躍し、それから交代したジョネ選手も活躍しました。この辺のバックスの、交代策、誰を外して誰をどのタイミングで入れるかっていうのは最初からある程度決めていたところだったのが、流れを見ながら判断したのかっていうのが1つ目で、2つ目ですね、最後の20分間で今日もちょっとミスが増えたり反則をしてしまった。そこはやっぱりそのスーパーラグビーの影響などがあったのか、あるいはメンタル的な問題だったのか、どうお考えでしょうか。
I think with the substitution plan, I have a plan, and 50% of the time it goes according to plan. Today, 50% of the time it went according to plan, and we had to adjust, and so we did. So I guess the important point here is no matter what happens, we trust everybody that we've selected to have a game, but the consequences of losing today meant we're on the plane tomorrow, so slightly a different sort of pressure. And I've forgotten the second part of the question, sorry, Tanaguchi-san.
Thank you. And the last two questions.
G 通信の伊藤です。姫野キャプテンにお聞きします。今日この試合に臨むにあたってですね、首脳陣のプランをどこまで遂行できるかっていうのを非常に試合前、準備されてたことだと思うんですけれども、どうですかね、準備した上での力負けっていうふうに姫野さん自身は捉えておられるのか、それとも何か歯車が狂ったと捉えられているのか、後悔があるとすればどういう点なのかっていうのを教えていただけますでしょうか。
自分たちには勝てるプランが 100% ありましたし、でもそれを毎回 100% できるわけではない。これだけレベルの高い試合になるとやっぱりそこが 100% できるわけではないですし、そこでの対応力っていうところも後手を踏んだところもありますし、ただ本当にそこに関してはやっぱりアルゼンチンがそこに僕たちより上回ったっていうところがもうシンプルな話だと思います。
Fantastic. That is the end of the press conference for Japan. We will be back shortly. Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。